so I go up there. There's a wicker couch and a wicker rocker.
It was great
It
rocker.
matches, you know.
I can't remember them.
So I bought it for $1.25. They sold it to me for $1.25. So Bernie O'Brien and I carried it all the way from there back over to Beach Street.
Then when we were getting married, Dave's mom said you need a couch, you know. She said we could take the couch and the rocker for us. So I painted it white and had slip covers made
Pink.
and stuff.
We were in pink.
But
Weren't they?
the slip covers were pinks and greens and all that stuff. And that was our first couch.
We had it all those years until not long ago.
Right.
Not long
They
ago.
had potato chip cans as white.
We did.
Oh, I remember the whole white.
I made lights out of.
That's
You
what
made
you
lights
got.
out of Charlie Chip potato.
I have a time capsule made out of a Charlie Chip can.
Do you?
Sure.
So what there?
That's what
Time
you got at
capsule.
Irving.
So
Turned
that
it-
put stuff in it.
How did you make
What?
lights? out of
Irving,
that?
the
They
owls
just
that
turned,
was
took
on
the,
green and
took
white.
the
real
cans
heavy
were
can.
canisters, you
Whatever
know,
her wedding
So you
gift,
take the lid
shower
off.
gift or something, I had
Much
bought.
turn it upside down,
Okay.
punch
Irving.
holes in the
You still have
bottom,
Irving?
drill a
If
hole
you
in the
got
No,
middle.
I have them.
You put a wire in
He's-
there, and a
he's
socket,
Seen better days.
plug on the
Hand
other end, you just
No,
hang
I
it from
can't
the ceiling.
pitch it.
What?
I bought like wicker
Didn't take
things
up
to
much
hide the
space,
cord,
did
you
it?
You only have
know.
them up, didn't you?
I had,
Well, then get rid of them.
And then we hung them down, and
in
we
my
painted
living
them
room, I
different
had
colors.
two. They were potato chip cans. They were
Right,
big.
that's what mine were, potato
And then
chips. Got
Daddy
Bob drilled a hole in and he put a piece of like plastic, clear plastic to hold the stem, you know. And he made the covers for them because I couldn't run a sewing machine.
Right.
And we bought this gray material and covered
Covered
them.
Ours were-
And
we
they
just
were on our
painted
living
ours.
room end
We
tables
just
for
painted
years.
ours, and like where our TV stand was, we bought 2 pieces of cheap wood,
Right, we
Wide.
bought- right,
you know, not like a
like a 1x8
12,
or a 1x12.
12.
I guess a
Two
1x12,
pieces of-
which is
yeah.
really 3/4 by
They were in
you
our
know,
house
11
in
and a half or
Pasadena.
and these long boards. Okay.
just because we had a front window, we
Yeah.
painted
And
those.
then we bought
Drain,
it was
Clay
ceramic drain pipe.
you know, clay looking. We
And-
had 3 of those clumped together.
Right, we put 3 together to make like a cluster of 3, and then so we had it on
For
the
what?
ends. We made shelves.
We made
Oh.
shelves to hold our TV.
We put a cement block or something like that, a small
A
cement block, a brick on the bottom.
The bricks.
So brick, you know, at the end, in the middle, and at the end, and then you put the plank on top of that, and then the 3 drain pipes in the end,
Which were
middle,
orangey color,
and
which was in my slipcover.
then another plank on top of that, and then you have like an
held
entertainment
our
center what holds your TV.
TV and, you know, cute accessories and things like
You did
that.
a lot of things when you
You
didn't
had
have
no
any
money.
Right.
That's right.
Yep.
We had the wicker couch,
had-
the rocker, the
By
The
brass
the-
bed and
brass bed, the entertainment center.
I can still remember getting that brass bed, how you guys got that one.
I got that for
50
$50.
bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong.
Your breast bed that's now in this room
Yeah.
was $50, and you had that bed for 30 years.
40 years.
40 years.
I was offered $300 for it when I was putting it on top of my Volkswagen. I had a Volkswagen with a rack on the top, and I'm loading the brass bed on top of it. And some guy came by and offered me $300 for it.
Like a
After you just
VW
bought it.
bug?
After I just bought it. And then a couple days later, the phone rang at the buyer's residence. Somebody recognized Tina as one of Dr. Byer's daughters. And we were offered $500 for it.
Jeez.
I said no. My future wife gave me instructions to get a brass bed. I was on radio shows, you know. I was, where you buy and sell radio shows. I'd go on, yeah, I'm interested in buying a brass bed, you know, if anybody has one. And I would go out to farmhouses and look at all this stuff they had, different kinds of beds, read the paper, you know, see who had these sales and what they were selling. And finally, I remember buying that bed it was at a estate sale near 26th and State. It was up in that area somewhere. It was like Parade and 28th,
Yeah, probably
Parade and 30th.
Parade, it wasn't, yeah.
It was up Parade Street, up past that high school. And it was an estate sale. And that was where I got it. And the only reason I got it was they sold all the stuff on the outside, except that bed was the only thing I came for, and it was leaning up against the garage wall outside the garage, and it was black.
Did you know it was there?
Yeah, it was in the
That was
paper.
advertised.
They listed in the paper that there was a brass bed for sale.
Okay.
Among other things, silver and china and all
Mhm.
sorts of stuff. So they sold everything outside then, and there were a lot of antique dealers there, and there was an auctioneer. And the auctioneer said, well, that about does it for the outside, let's go inside. And everybody rushed around the front of the house and in the front, because he was now going to sell everything inside the house. And somebody, after they all left and the auctioneer was still there, somebody said, hey, you forgot to sell the bed over by the garage. Oh, okay, we'll sell the bed. So there was one guy bidding on the bed other than me, because everybody was inside, And every time he bid a bid, I upped him $1. That's all I did.
Because we didn't have any money. We had no money.
And then finally he got frustrated and he said, you can take the bed. And it was at 50. And they sold it to me. So I'm loading it on the Volkswagen. I wish I still had the
Flat springs.
yeah, it was springs. It was all
Flat
brass,
springs.
and it was coiled springs and all that stuff, that you would just put a mattress on.
Well, what happened to that?
I don't know what happened.
We got
to
rid of that. You didn't want that. You said you didn't want that. You wanted that bed something else, but you did not want those springs. So we got rid of the
You
springs.
just wanted the headboard and the footboard.
Right. So we put box springs on it and then a mattress on top of that.
It's cute.
But again, the
You
biggest
weren't even married though.
the biggest
No,
the biggest thing we have
Was
to
that
do
the
though.
deal breaker? The
Yeah,
brass bed?
yeah.
Why did you want a brass bed?
I always wanted a brass
Did
bed.
your folks have one?
No,
See the
no,
movie or something?
no.
I don't know where
Yeah,
that
there's a
gets
little
from.
ring.
But I'll tell
I
you what
wanted a
though.
four-poster brass bed.
And she insists
I
on
wanted
it.
to have like
yeah.
that princess.
But doesn't know why.
But I'll tell you what, at that time, brass beds were the rage. I mean, they were hard to come by and they were the rage,
I
and
can't
more
think
than
of
us,
them being around now.
more than us wanted that.
I got a headboard. We have a brass headboard that I can't stand and it
I
goes
can't imagine buying a bed for $50.
rattles.
But then, that was my friend,
Surprised what you could buy it for.
Steve
Oh,
Albert.
that was
that
a lot
said
of
to us
money.
one time he
They
came
were
over
like,
and
oh
looked
my
at
God,
that
how am I
bed.
gonna
He
pay for
said,
this?
where'd you get the bed? And I told him the story and all that. He said, he said, that's where people hid their valuables. He said they hid them in the
Never
Hollow
opened the
posts.
in four posts.
You still have it?
Yeah,
Cap
It's out in the
that
garage?
one over there.
And he said,
Oh, it's in the guest room.
that's
Oh,
where
okay.
people hid
Yeah, I
their
wouldn't get rid of that
valuables,
thing
their
after that
valuables.
story.
He said, you need to take those caps off
see what's
sometime
in there.
and see what's down inside.
We just
Okay.
haven't done that.
You could probably turn it upside down. You'd
You've
hear
never
something.
done that?
You know what I mean? If you
Could've
turn it
been a
upside
tired
down, it
thing.
would.
See
Really?
if there was anything in
I
it.
Yeah, if something would
Curious
move.
After that story?
Yeah, we got to do it. So let's
No, we're not doing
You
it.
could be
Yeah, we
retired
are.
already.
Yeah.
You're gonna open this
should
up
do
going,
it.
it's like $2
It could be the
million
map to
here.
One Eyed Willie's buried treasure.
I've
You
been
never know.
thinking- I've been thinking-
There's bloom in there.
I
I've
would have
been
used
thinking
this
how to
$2
get
million
the caps
a
off.
couple years
And
ago.
look where we bought it, in Erie. Who the hell had
But
anything
it was
in
an
Erie?
expensive. It was one of the most.
Well, it could be
expensive
like an old
houses in
Civil
Erie.
War
money in
document
there.
or something.
It was one of
Yes.
the most expensive estates in Erie.
I can't believe you've never
So-
done
Might
that.
find jewels.
That's interesting.
Why
So-
not?
I did
This
because I'll
weekend
tell you
you
what.
and I,
Because
Gretchen.
those
Oh my
caps,
God. Mine are cheaper.
because I really don't know how to get the caps off.
There was nothing in there.
I won a welding competition back in the day.
So I've been thinking about how I'm going to come up with a
I can
device. A device which would be like a yoke, that that would go around that pipe. Okay, and it would be maybe wood. Hard,
Because you want to ruin it.
That
You
you
don't
could
want to bend
now,
it.
now
you
you
don't
can
wanna
take
ruin
their
it.
screws out there's screws holding the cap on, but they're on there. Okay, so you put a yoke on there that'll come up underneath the cap, and then you should be able to hit it with a rubber mallet and work your way around from the bottom to pop the cap
Or even
off.
just
Without,
shake
I
it.
don't want to damage it.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not gonna
heavy.
shake
You can't
it.
just shake it.
Shake
It's
it doesn't say
heavy.
anything. What if there's a painting in there,
Oh yeah.
or whatever? I mean, you need to get in there and see what's in there.
When are we
what if
doing
there's
this?
What if there's a What if there's a signed copy of the Declaration of Independence
Yeah,
in there that
right.
nobody knew about?
Yeah, right.
That's how they find them. They find maybe not in Erie, but they found them in Connecticut, places like that.
Stolen tea.
Dream on.
Maybe there's
What
a
are we
Renoir in there.
doing?
You know.
There's a
We have no
Renoir.
Sitting
idea.
there.
There might be something
Oh,
wrong.
yeah,
Lots
maybe.
of money.
There might be stocks in there.
Right?
Might be a bunch of dead old spider meat.
Yeah, that could be it.
So those
Daddy
guys.
Longlegs.
So I'm
Jimmy
thinking about
Hoffa.
it. Sounds like a retirement plan.
Oh, yeah, well, at least you found them,
Yeah.
they pay a lot.
I will. At first, I told Steve Albert. I said, "Okay, I'll tell you what." I said, "I'll wait till you and I get together sometime, and we're together, and we'll open it." I haven't seen him for. He's now retired.
He's
and
now
all.
We gotta
retired
think of how
and
to
just
get
had
those
twins.
off.
He's chicken.
Huh?
We gotta think about how to get those
Yeah.
off.
Well, take a look at it before you leave today. You'll see how they're mounted on there, and there's brass screws holding them in position. But there was also a
There's
lot of
probably
corrosion
$3 million
and stuff,
down
you know,
there,
so
they
it's
could
not
have
going to come
done
off
whatever
easy.
they
yeah.
wanted to.
And I don't want to damage the bed. I don't want to dent it or flatten those caps or anything.
And I'm sure whoever owned it, probably the kids went through that sucker, but not a problem.
Right.
You would never, if you had some adult that hid stuff in there and they passed away or something, they'd never done that.
Our
They just
kitchen
sold
table
that.
and stools, that was from Green Stamps.
Yeah, that's right. Green Stamps was the thing that.
I remember the.
Remember
I remember you guys
I
bought the
remember too.
cooler that you still
get the
use in
books.
between the
Little
This
books.
is very.
in between
Yes,
the
those little
thingy.
books you had.
Is that with green stamps?
And you
With
got
that,
the
yeah,
green
with that
stamps from
cool, the
grocery
cooler that
Yes.
fits right in between the.
You got so many green
that one
stamps
right
based
there?
off your-
Yeah, that one right there.
purchase.
S&H.
That's the cooler, right there.
Really?
That
I
red
didn't
one?
remember
I remember
that.
going when you guys picked it up.
Glue the
Oh,
stamps, oh, God.
I remember Mother used to make us glue stamps.
Into a book, a little
It'd be
book.
a holy day
Yeah.
of obligation. Okay, you don't have any school. Okay, you can do the green stamps.
What are green stamps?
And then there were
You
stamps.
got them from the grocery store
From
for every
Publix, I
amount
thought.
for every amount of don't film me.
Oh.
For every amount of
Whatever